In totality, music can transform the emotions and feelings of the people within no time. It can lessen the stress, the pain, the struggle, distraction, and bring positivity and calmness in our daily lives. Music holds the power to bring people together in different ways. Music can make us expressive and help us in understanding our feelings and emotions in the better manner, mga kanakan. Hey mga kanakan! It's me again, your Sir AJ, and welcome to another video demo episode only here on Teacher AJ TV. So ayun na nga, nandito na naman ako, ang inyong lingkod, Sir AJ, para magbigay ng panibagong kaalaman na tiyak na makakatulong sa iyo dito sa episode ng Teacher AJ TV. So kung ano pang inaantay natin, let's start! So for today's episode mga kanakan is that we are going to travel to the East Asian countries. Yay! Diba? So last time I have taught you or I have talked about the Southeast Asian countries on my previous episode. Para dun po sa mga hindi pa po nakakapanood ng aking episode na iyon, okay? So the music of Southeast Asia, I have posted po the link on the description box below para naman po mapanood nyo siya. Ngayon naman, we are going to learn about the music of East Asia mga kanakan. Yay! And as we go on, we would be able to know kung may pinagkaiba ba ang music nila sa music ng mga Southeast Asian countries or sa music natin. For the learning competency is at the end of this lesson, the students will be able to listen perceptively to the music of East Asia. Since this competency is based on MELP, we have to follow it here. Pero for us to get rid of some issues here on YouTube, I won't be playing music on my content dahil sa mga umaangkin. Pero, gano'n naman talaga mga kanakan, di ba? Sa life, para makaiwas ka sa mga bagay na makakasakit sa atin or nakakasakit sa'yo, matuto dapat tayong magparaya. I learned this lesson as a YouTuber. Going back, I want you to meet the different East Asian countries. Okay? So, ito po yung mga East Asian countries natin mga kanakan. Here we have China. We also have Mongolia. Meron din po tayong North Korea and South Korea. And last is the Japan. Okay, so ito po yung mga East Asian countries na ating pag-aaralan. Pero gusto ko lang pong emphasize sa inyo that we only have 3. Okay, may 3 lang po tayong bansa na pag-aaralan dito sa mga East Asian countries na to. And ito po ay si China, si Korea, and si Japan. For the overview mga kanakan, Japan, China, and Korea are example of countries in East Asia. Just like any other countries, they also have their own vocal and instrumental music. So kung hindi nyo pa po alam yung tungkol sa difference between the vocal and instrumental music, then you may check the link dyan po sa upper right corner po ng inyong screen or the link on the description box below para po mapanood nyo yung video episode ko about the difference of the vocal and instrumental music. Their music also reflects the different aspects of East Asian culture, and it can be seen through its timbre, its rhythm, its melody, texture, form, and style. Okay? So Japanese vocal music is quite different from the Western vocal music. It is based on the intervals of human breathing rather than the mathematical timing, mga kanakan. It says there that the Japanese music is based on human breathing rather than the mathematical timing. Kasi, when we talk about the mathematical timing mga kanakan, these are the same as the divisions of time or the mathematical divisions of time. Each piece of music has a time signature that gives rhythmic information about the piece, such as how many beats are in each measure. Okay, so a time signature is like a fraction with one number on top and one number on the bottom. It is important for musicians to understand the value of these fractions and notes in order to count the music correctly. So, sa ibig sabihin nito, mga kanakan, East Asian singers mostly and usually use human breathing. So, nagdedepende lang po sila sa paghinga. Okay, sa kanilang paghinga kung paano sila mag-change from one line of the song to the other one or from one melody to the other. Ganun po. And one of the reason behind is that they wanted to give more emphasis mga kanakan to their songs through their emotion. Okay, so mas maganda na kumakanta sila ng slowly, kumakanta sila from the heart, kumakanta sila ng palumanay, 'di ba? Kaysa po na kumakanta po sila ng mabilis tapos hindi na masyadong maintindihan po yung kanilang kinakanta. Okay, I hope that's clear mga kanakan. It also says here how Japanese musicians show spiritual self-mastery in mastering his or her instrument more than simple perfecting a technique, okay, of some sort, and how they give value to their performance and composure. Mas mahalaga po sa kanila na memorize nila kung paano nila gagamitin sa ulado nila, kung paano nila gagamitin yung kanilang mga musical instruments. Okay, yun lang po yung ibig sabihin dito. Okay mga kanakan, now let us talk about the music of Japan. Traditional Japanese music genres have long histories but have changed little in the hundreds of years. In the modern world, it could be perceived as stagnation, but it is in fact the reflection of the Japanese value of stability. Okay, if we are going to define the word stagnation mga kanakan, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, it is referred to as a situation in which something stays the same and does not grow and develop at all. Maaari nating sabihin na napakatagal na panahon na mula nang makilala ang bansang Japan mga kanakan. And even those earlier years, meron na silang na-develop na musical genres. And yet, hindi siya masyadong nag-evolve. So, bakit kaya? Okay? Or hindi siya masyadong nag-improve mga kanakan? Because, just like what it says here, no? On your screen, nasa belief ng mga Japanese ang word na stability. Okay? Parang, kumbaga sa kanila, prinsipyo na sa kanila yung term na stability. Okay, or the act of being stable, in which the good thing is there is uniqueness in their music mga kanakan that we cannot see from other musical genres. Oh my God! Wow! In addition mga kanakan, performances are uniform. Okay, sa Japan po, no? Performances are uniform with great decorum. Music types include court music, musical drama, chamber music, and chant. Okay, ito yung mga musical styles na kailangan nating i-consider when we are going to hear Japanese music. And one example, okay, one best example of a court music in Japan is this one. Okay, the picture that you can actually see on your screen is what you call the gagaku. Okay, gagaku, which means elegant music mga kanakan. It became the music of the imperial court in Japan. It was played during rituals and performed by the imperial family and was meant to convey the aura of dignity, mystery, and awe around the family court mga kanakan. The music was not performed in a public for a general audience, okay? And thus was only heard by aristocrats and the royalty. So, I could say na pangmayaman po itong court music na performed by the gagaku. Okay? Kasi kung papansinin natin based on the explanation, no, mga kanakan, it was only performed by the imperial family, okay, or the aristocrats and the royalty. So kung hindi ka mayaman sa Japan, no, there is a least possibility na makapanood ka ng performance ng Gagaku. For the continuation, mga kanakan, Japanese music is also called ongako or ongaku, which means literally sound of comfort. Okay, it started in the 18th century and has been developing into different styles since then, but there are always the common characteristics through each phase, such as a hint of familiarity of the melody or the pentatonic scale. And if I am going to introduce, okay, a music of or a Japanese music to you or a folk song to you, I will definitely introduce Sakura, which is a Japanese folk song, mga kanakan. So when we talk about Sakura, just like what I have said, no, it is a well-known traditional folk song. It is also a popular children's song. So mostly mga bata pa lang yung mga Japanese, alam na po nila yung tungkol dito sa kantang Sakura. So, Sakura, which translates to cherry blossom, mga kanakan, kaya po yan yung nakikita nyo on your screen right now. It is the Japanese cherry tree. So, when we talk about the cherry tree, it represents beauty. It represents peace. It represents joy in the Japanese culture, mga kanakan. But more importantly is that the blooming of the cherry tree for them, okay, signifies the arrival of spring and therefore is associated with renewal and rebirth. So parang for them it's a new day, 'di ba? It's a new life kasi 'di ba nga sabi natin, Japan is the land of the rising sun. Okay, so napakaraming history ng Japan, napaka-rich niya sa history, and up to this day, one of the most developed countries po ang Japan. Kaya itong folk song na to, malalim yung hugot nila dito, malalim yung ibig sabihin para sa kanila. Okay mga kanakan, so the next East Asian country that we are going to discuss is China. Okay, so traditionally, the Chinese believe that sound, okay, influences the harmony of the universe. Hmm, bakit kaya? Medyo logical to, mga kanakan, no? If I am going to give an opinion about this, when we talk about sound as an influence to the harmony of the universe, mga kanakan, uh, it means sound for the Chinese is everything. Okay? Because if there is sound, for them everything will turn out normally. Their music was based on the doctrines of some Chinese philosophers like Confucius, the one who could you actually see on your screen. The words of Confucius for many Chinese are the most influential. They live with it, mga kanakan. And Confucius' teachings are being passed on from one generation to another. Ngayon, baka naguguluhan kayo or nagtataka kayo, mga kanakan, sino po ba si Confucius? Para malinawan tayo about kay Confucius, siya lang naman po yung philosopher na nagsabi ng tinatawag nating the Golden Rule. Okay, so ano po ba yung the Golden Rule, Teacher AJ? Okay, ang the Golden Rule po is this one. Do not do unto others what you do not want others do unto you. Okay, so sabi niya, huwag mong gawin sa iba kung anong ayaw mong gawin ng iba sa iyo. Okay, and one quote na naaalala ko pa, mga kanakan, about Confucius is that, what I hear, I forget. What I see, I remember. What I do, I understand. Okay, so that is all about Confucius, mga kanakan. Okay, so for the vocal style of Chinese music, mga kanakan, you have to consider nasal falsetto, meron din tayong high-end register, and mostly performed by males. And folk music includes dance pieces with lively melodies and rhythms on the lyrical. For the vocal form, siguro maisingit na din natin, ano, that vocal form for Chinese music, their poetry are delivered through chant. Okay, singing of narrative song is very prevalent. So when we talk about prevalent, it means existing very commonly mga kanakan. And opera in Chinese music are very sophisticated. So performances also in Chinese music may include acrobats, meron din tayong dancers, meron din colorful costumes, and lastly, dramatic effect on stage. And the very best example of this one is the Chinese-speaking opera mga kanakan. Chinese-speaking opera is a form of traditional Chinese theater that originated in Beijing, China in the 18th century, mga kanakan. So, compared to other types or styles of Chinese theater, no, it is relatively a new style of drama combining music, song, dance, and acrobatics in a lively and colorful display. So, sa mga susunod ko pong mga episodes, mga kanakan, we are going to focus more on the Chinese-speaking opera. And now, kung kanina po, no, I have introduced a Japanese folk song sa inyo. Ngayon naman, I am going to introduce also a Chinese folk song which is entitled Moliwa. Okay, so Moliwa po is a Chinese folk song. It means jasmine flower. Okay, so it was composed during the Qing Dynasty in 1616 to 1912 AD and was one of the first Chinese songs mga kanakan to become popular abroad. So kahit saang lugar, bukod sa China, kilala po itong Moliwa. The song's tune entertains three phrases and depicts the purity of love between young people by highlighting the beauty of the jasmine flowers. Jasmine flower song, mga kanakan, can be found throughout China and there are many regional variations of this. The origin of the song was considered a myth until two young Zhou scholars, Zhu Shangxing and Ni Feng, published an academic article in 2000 detailing the history between the folk song and Yangzhou deity, an old-fashioned type of folk music. So for you to hear the following folk music here in our episode, I have posted it or I have posted the link on the description box below. And now we are down to our last East Asian country and that is Korea mga kanakans kung saan napakaraming oppa, napakaraming unni, napakaraming BTS fans. Okay? So, even here in our country, di ba? Napakaraming fans dito ng mga iba't ibang K-pop groups. So, let's talk about the music of Koreans mga kanakan. Traditional Korean music represents a world of captivating rhythms and melodies whose sounds draw listeners like a breath. Okay? Koreans sang songs when they could not hold their emotions or sadness in. The music of Korea is generally to be impacted by wars, shamanistic, and Buddhist thoughts. Okay, pag sinabi nating wars, syempre pwede silang magkaroon ng yung experience nila, gawan nila ng kanta. Okay, and then yung shamanistic din. Pag sinabi nating shamanistics, ito yung pagdadasal natin doon sa mga mahal natin sa buhay na yumao na. And that is actually practiced in Korea and the Buddhist thoughts also. And then, Korean folk music on the other hand is nature-inspired mga kanakan. The typical song of North Korea is the Susimga, which means lamentation. Okay? While the songs in Central and South Korea, like Arirang and the rice grinding song, are both lyrical and lively. Okay. So for the vocal form of Korean music, divided into two main groups of court and folk music mga kanakan. Court music is performed based on the type of ceremony and folk music performances vary and are based on singing, dancing, and acrobatics with instrument playing. So, folk music of Korea, Korean folk songs were categorized into work songs, dancing songs, love songs, drinking songs, and marching songs. Okay, so the solo is usually sung by a woman with the usual themes of work and the sentimental moods of women. So they usually sing from the heart talaga mga kanakan. Generally, Korean folk music is a lyrical ballad type. Okay, so an example of this is the Arirang, which is a story of an imaginary rendezvous of lovers in the dreamland. Okay, so when we talk about Arirang mga kanakan, Arirang is arguably the most famous Korean folk song. Okay, alam nyo ba yon?
Oh my God! Wow!
Indeed, Arirang is so well known that it is often considered to be the Korea's unofficial national anthem. Kasi alam niyo po ba, itong Korean song na ito na Arirang, usually sang ng mga mami dun sa mga anak nila. Okay, so it could be a form of lullaby also. And then, na-adapt nila ito sa school hanggang lumaki sila na grade school, okay? Hanggang tumanda sila, nakakanta nila or most of the Koreans know kung paano kantahin itong arirang na ito. Yet, no one is sure, okay? No one is sure when the song arose nor what the title means. Yun yung nakakamangha doon. Kinakanta nila pero hindi nila alam kung saan siya nag-originate, hindi rin nila alam kung ano talaga yung ibig sabihin ng title na Arirang. Okay? But as I read some articles about this song mga kanakan, I have known na ang kantang ito is actually about family. Okay? Kasi noong unang panahon in Korea, Arirang is sung because one family member will be leaving or not, one family member will be coming home. Kaya nga niya sinabi dito sa screen, di ba? Which is a story of an imaginary rendezvous of lovers in dreamland or pagtatagpo ng magkasintahan doon sa dreamland. So, this one is all about the Arirang Korean folk song. Ngayon, nasa description box din po yung link for this song for you to hear it. Next one is that Korean music styles. Meron po tayong pungmul. Okay, when we talk about pungmul, it is a very popular percussive folk music of Korea. Next one is the court music. It was for the royal people of Korea katulad po sa court music na gagaku in Japan. And Chongak and Sogak, the heritage of Korea. Meron ding Chongak was the music associated with the ruling classes and Sogak or Misongak. Misogak was associated with the lower classes or for the general public. It includes genres such as pansori and minyo. When we talk about pansori mga kanakan, it is a dramatic music presented to audiences by skilled vocal singers and drummers. Okay, so what I have learned in this episode, Japan, China, and Korea are the examples of countries in East Asia. Number two, just like any other countries, they also have their own vocal and instrumental music. Sakura is for the Japanese folk song, Moliwa is for the Chinese folk song, and Arirang for the Korean folk song. So, this is what you should always remember mga kanakan. Music produces a kind of pleasure which human nature cannot do without. That is again according to the great philosopher Confucius mga kanakan. We may not literally know what kind of pleasure this is, okay? But one thing is for sure mga kanakan, that we cannot live without music. Music is everything for those who love hearing it. Music heals a lot of things. especially in our emotional being. Okay? It relaxes us kasi, making some things around us seems very light to carry along. Okay? So, music also brings a lot of memories to us. We tend to remember both the happy and sad moments of our lives. In totality, music can transform the emotions and feelings of the people within no time. It can lessen the stress, the pain, the struggle, distraction, and bring positivity and calmness in our daily lives. Music holds the power to bring people together in different ways. Music can make us expressive and help us in understanding our feelings and emotions in the better manner, mga kanakan. So I hope na with this one, naliwanagan kayo what is the importance of music to us people. Okay, so these are the references that I have used in order to accomplish this video demo lesson for this episode, mga kanakan. That ends our lesson for today, mga kanakan. Sana po ay may panibago na naman po kayong lesson or aral na natutunan po mula po sa akin. If you found this video interesting and exciting, okay, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification button for you to be more updated. Okay, sa mga susunod ko pa pong mga episode. This has been your teacher AJ saying, Happy Learning!